Hello everyone, my name is Dori Robinson and I am with Academic Expeditions, which travels domestically, Discovery Expeditions, which travels internationally, and Rise Expeditions, our non-profit wing. I'm here today for our next installment of Music Monday. And this week's protest song is none other than Big Yellow Taxi by the one and only Joni Mitchell. Now, often when I say Big Yellow Taxi, many people don't know which song I'm referring to because Big Yellow Taxi, those words are not actually used in the chorus, they're in the last stanza. Why? We'll get to that in a moment. She was born Roberta Joan Anderson on November 7th, 1943 in Canada. At the age of 9, she contracted polio, and while she was in the hospital, she started performing and singing for other people. Soon after, she taught herself guitar. Soon after that, she went to art school. And soon after that, she became a folk sensation in the 1960s and 70s. She is quoted as saying, "I wouldn't have pursued music but for trouble." And there was a lot of trouble in 1969 and 1970 that brought a lot of folk singers to the microphone, specifically for environmental protests. The first event to inspire her was a massive oil spill off Santa Barbara, California in 1969. At the time, it was the worst in American history. The oil platform had exploded and 3 million gallons of crude slicked across the Pacific coast. This is partially what began the modern environmental protection movement. Additionally, the incredibly polluted Cuyahoga River in Ohio caught fire due to pollution, oily waste, and debris on the river, and this prompted the U.S. Congress to pass the National Environmental Policy Act in 1970. This act helped establish the Environmental Protection Agency itself and gave duties to manage the environmental risks and regulate various sanitary specific policies. Joni Mitchell had taken a trip to Hawaii and afterwards was quoted as saying, "I walked over to the hotel room balcony and there was picture book scenery, palm trees swaying in the breeze and all. When I looked down, there below my view was this ugly concrete car park on the hotel grounds." And that is how we get the famous, "Don't it always seem to go? You don't know what you got till it's gone." They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. On that same trip, she saw the Foster Botanical Garden, which she calls a tree museum, which of course is where we get the lyrics, "Charge the people $1.50 just to see them." Now, the third verse of Big Yellow Taxi continues with our environmental discussions and specifically brings up the hot topic of the day, DDT. DDT was initially developed as one of the first modern synthetic insecticides in the 1940s. It was originally used to combat malaria, typhus, other insect-borne human diseases in both civilian and military populations. But eventually it became quite popular, and so it was used at homes, at institutions, and in gardens. And eventually its level of toxicity became well known, both for the environment and for wildlife. And so in 1972, the EPA issued a cancellation order for DDT. Here we are, and we move finally from the political to the personal. And that's when we hear the words "Big Yellow Taxi," when Joni Mitchell refers to the big yellow taxi that takes her boyfriend away. So we have this bright and happy sounding song juxtaposed with these very thoughtful, provocative, and somber lyrics. And I think that's part of the reason why the song is so impactful, is because we've talked about bigger global issues and environmental issues, and then she brings us to something, a personal issue in her own heart. It's a deeply effective song, and since its inception, almost 500 artists have recorded the song, and since 1990, someone has recorded a cover at least every single year since. So her song and her message had a big impact on the environment then, and continues to send this message about noticing, appreciating, and preserving what we have while it's here. Now, without further ado, I give you Joni Mitchell's Big Yellow Taxi. much for joining us on Music Monday. Please post in the comments your favorite protest songs, your favorite environmental songs. We would love to hear from you. This is really supposed to be a dialogue between us all, and we would love to hear your thoughts. So thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time.